Hello, everybody. How are you? Sorry about the little delay. I'm used to my music coming on first, but we're doing something a little different today. Good evening. Welcome. It's been a while. We've been off for a minute just doing life things. Things happen all the time. Bryant's doing okay. He shall be patching in shortly. We have a great show for you today. Normally, we have about two or three guests discussing two different things, and then we usually have a performer. Tonight's, excuse me, tonight's podcast will focus on a show that will be opening in Chicago on October 11th at the DuSable Black History Museum in Chicago, 56 and Cottage Grove. The name of the production is the Pocketbook Monologues, originally written by a Chicago legend, disc jockey Sharon McGee. She did this a few years ago, and now it has been passed to the hands of Dr. Eunice Sanders, who will is the producer, and she will be on tonight discussing it further. The show is great. It is reminiscent of the vagina monologues, but this has a twist that is geared towards the African American woman. Um, we will also have actors from the show. We will have Miss Laura Walls, an outstanding actress based in Chicago, notably portraying Billie Holiday in her repertoire. We have Queen Quiana, based in Joliet. She is a powerhouse singer, and she may do something for us tonight. I'm not sure. If she does, it'll be a nice surprise. She also joins this cast, and she will be at the opening on October 11th. The music is always important to us. Providing the music for this production will be Eric Starr Rutherford. He is a talented musician based in Chicago. He will be acting as the musical director and will be creating new songs for the production. Um, we do not have any sponsors this time, so if you are interested in becoming a sponsor with us, please inbox us and sorry, inbox us and send a message to Katie Lowe, and she will assist you. If not, if you don't want to do that, you can look up me on Facebook, Steve Dunagan. I work with CDC, so that'll be the easy way to recognize. Surprisingly, there are a good number of Stephen Dunagans hanging around the United States. Or you can hit Bryant up, Bryant McLemore Smith on Instagram or on Facebook, and get in contact with us. Get in contact with us anyway, and let us know how we're doing tonight, how we have been doing, and what you would like to see in the future on In the Basement with McLemore. I also want to shout out Katie Lowe. She is our producer. I did nothing but gather the guests together and get all the little logistics together. She is the tech guru, and she everything that you see, that you're able to hear and see me, is because of Katie Lowe, and so we want to thank her for her talents, and we appreciate that. I am looking for Mr. McLemore. Um, while we wait for Mr. McLemore and Dr. Eunice to appear, voila, here's Mr. McLemore Smith here. Hey,
Hi.
Bryant, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on? How are you?
I am good. I'm good. Good to be back. Hopefully our usuals are in the audience tonight, and hopefully we've got some new ones. Shout out to my family in Philly, Steve Mason, Khalil Mason, Ashley Volpe. I hope they are looking. Uh, everybody else that's looking, and or listening. If you can't see, you're just listening. We appreciate that too. Ears and eyes are our favorites.
Well, this is the. I want to just go ahead. Thank you for that welcome. I was actually in the back room just hanging out.
Uh-huh.
So, first of all, I want to say, hey guys, welcome to In the Basement with McLemore, where the truth comes out. I am your host, Bryant McLemore Smith. We have been on hiatus for almost a year. So, thank you, thank you, thank you for tuning in today. A life, like Steve said earlier, life has been lifing us. We had some ups and downs, some challenges, some things in between. I want to dedicate this show to my little brother, Vandy LeRae Smith, who unfortunately went on to heaven last year. And that was sort of a thing to where I had to get into a space to where we're going to call this good grief because it's just stuff that happened. And Steve, you're no stranger to losing a sibling. So that's a whole nother
Yes.
piece. That's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother energy that we just didn't know how to navigate through because it was a first. And some of you out there might have some comments on how you got over. What was your process? Was it counseling? I know as African American people, we sometimes think counseling is taboo and something that we don't want to do. And Steve, I know that just on and off the subject, you actually sought counsel.
I sure did. I needed it. I am one to power through things and will pretend that it's not bothering. Well, I shouldn't say. In retrospect, you say pretend that it wasn't bothering me, but it obviously must have been. But I just kept on moving, and then it took a couple of friends at work to say about a month or so after she passed, and after the she had two services and all. They're like, "So when are you leaving? When are you taking vacation?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm fine." They're like, "You need to go." Like my program director, she's like, "Steve, you need to take at least a week. Like I'm almost ordering you to." So
Right.
yeah, so I went to Myrtle Beach for a week and just laid on the beach, cried, ate by myself
Yeah.
to get it out. And then once I got back, then I went to a therapist for about 7 months, and
Cool.
it did help. It did help.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to seeking counsel. The stuff that you drag through, unfortunately, because the loss of a sibling doesn't just affect you, but then both you and I have nieces and nephews, great nieces and nephews from our younger sibling, and then we have our mothers left still in the picture and dealing with that grief and making sure that they're dealing with theirs. So, it becomes a whole hodgepodge of stuff that is like a snowball rolling downhill and you don't even know what you don't know.
Right.
So,
Um, quick PSA from Katie. All you listeners and viewers, we're on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, and we're live. So if you could please share the link that you received and share it on all those platforms. We appreciate it. Thank you.
yes, so we're going to do that. And so, without further ado, we talked about not only that, where we've been and some of the challenges that we had. We could go on and on. We've got some really good shows lined up for the fall season. We definitely want to talk about that mental illness issues that we may have. As a sidebar, before we start talking about the show that I am co-producing with Dr. Eunice Sanders, Dr. George Smith, and a host of amazing, talented young ladies that are going to be doing their monologues. And we have a couple of them that are coming on the show tonight with us. One of them being Miss Laura Walls, and another a singer-songwriter, Miss Queen Quiana. And I think also Eric Rutherford's in the back room. So when we see if Dr. Sanders is already in the back room, why don't we bring Dr. Sanders on? And then if she doesn't pop up, we'll go with Eric.
Quick bar debate tonight. Do not forget to watch the debate. All
Yes.
important. Okay.
Yes. We want to see how much of a fool this man becomes. Did I say that out loud? Who's that in the background? Is that Eunice? Hey, Dr.
That's
Sanders,
me.
unmute your
Hi
phone.
there,
How are you?
guys.
Hey there. Good to see
Hi.
you,
I
sis.
am doing extremely well. Hi
Good.
there. Great to see you guys.
You too.
So Eunice, I know that you and I are actually in the same space. So if we get some feedback, then we'll turn our mics off when one is talking and the other one isn't. Welcome, welcome, welcome to In the Basement with McLemore, with which your brother's the host, and you're familiar with me and Steve. I'm excited, first of all, to introduce you and what the Pocketbook Monologues is going to do for the city of Chicago. I'm glad to be in the director's seat, directing with our young ladies and doing some of the artistic and creative nuances that are going to make this show amazing. But Eunice, why don't you just tell us a little bit about how you got the project and what your writing is, and yeah, all of that stuff.
First of all, I want to say thank you, Steve and Bryant, for bringing me on the show tonight. I am most excited about the project. I started this project in kind of a weird kind of way. I was approached by a very good friend of mine who had worked with the original author, which was Sharon K. McGee. And I knew Sharon from the radio station, but I didn't have a personal relationship with her. And after having much conversation just about my life and some of the things that I had gone through, this friend of mine was just like, hey, this project, it fits you. It would be a great thing for you to carry on. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? And at that time, I had no idea that they helped to put this project in motion. And after reading the book, the first book that was put out, um, and really praying, because I am a praying woman and a woman of faith, that I began to feel how there was such a connection for me with this. My own story, being a victim of molestation. And I started reading all of these true stories about women, these real stories about women that I was connecting with. And from there, I was like, okay, I'm all in. I'm all into this. I began to write book two, Tell It, the Pocketbook Monologues Act Two. And Tell It is about really some of my own experience in realizing that when we become victims, whether it's rape, molestation, whatever it is, if we don't tell that story, if we don't tell, the first thing your predator says is, you better not tell, they won't believe you. Or if you tell it, I'm going to blame you. It's your fault. But the best thing you can do, my telling it would have prevented other people from being molested and becoming victims as well. So this project is about real women, real stories that really touch the hearts of everyone, both men and women. And so I'm finished with the book. It is due to be out at the time of the show. And I am so excited to have you, Bryant, working with me um, to make this show to be what it's to be. So I'm happy about that, and I don't want to keep running on. So, what's your next question?
Nice. Can I? Oh, did you have one, Brian? Mute. Mute it.
Yeah, sorry. I wanted to make sure that in the reiteration, when you talk about sexual molestation, being molested by relative, and that's what my book Love, Blood, and Rhinestones centered around. And an upcoming project that we're going to do as well will be about the men telling their stories. And Eunice, you were 100% right about us telling our own narratives, creating our own narratives in order for us to heal, because there's somebody out there that has your story. There's too many of them that have been duplicated, that where they are this story. So this is going to be an ongoing. Me and Eunice already done talked about not going back to our job next year, child. So y'all tune in.
Okay.
Got that right.
Y'all
Oh,
come
I
to
can't
do
wait
it.
for retirement.
So what was your question, Steve? I'm sorry.
Um, that's something that I don't know if I've heard before. Unfortunately, I've heard that story about women and men being molested in their childhood. And you brought up a very, very important point about how you decided not to tell because of all that, unfortunately, crap that molesters tell young ones about. We're going to tell, they're not going to believe you. That guilt that you felt, how long did you feel that, like immediately after or many years later when you realized you should have said something? How bad does it
So
get
to
to?
be perfectly honest with you, I was in my mid-20s, and this is a part of my personal monologue. And I was at some good friends of mine's home, and they had left me at home. I thought I was really getting ready to study and just have some alone time. And I heard spirit say, it's time for you to tell your story. And at that time, I began to weep. It was like someone stuck a pin in a balloon, because for me, my experience was, I'm okay. It didn't destroy, I'm married. It didn't destroy my life. I have a good sex life. I have good, wholesome relationships. But then I realized that, you know, how so many times we hear people say, you know, what you're going through ain't just about you. It's oftentimes connected to the other people that are part of your life. And so that was my experience. Even though um, I was married, I had never at that time even told my ex-husband now. I had
Mhm.
not even shared that with him. I had not told him. I had not even talked about it. And there's a true thing about suppression. We can suppress a thing as if it had never happened to us. And so that day was an awakening for me. It was like, hey, no, don't uncover my stuff. It's hidden, it's under there. Don't pull it out. I'm
You don't
okay,
want
I'm
to think
good.
about it.
But it's not about me. And
Yeah.
today, as I work on this project, Steve, I truly now see full scope how
Mhm.
it isn't about me. I
Yeah.
got an opportunity to tell my story to a small women's group.
Mhm.
And it was such a healing for them. Many of them began to talk about their story. They began to, say, this happened to me too. That happened to me as well. Um, but it wasn't until I started working on this project and writing that I realized that there was some unfinished business in me. Although it
Yeah.
had not affected my sex life, it didn't affect me. I didn't think it affected me emotionally or how I was um, as a person. I did still realize that there was a lot of unfinished business because of how it was so emotional for me at that time when I had to face it
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and deal with the fact that it happened to other people in my family. And
Yeah.
that was the hardest part, that hey, you were looking to not hurt feelings and not to be looked at it as your fault, but
Mm.
look what happened. So I had to come to terms with that it was something that I could have possibly helped someone else
Yeah.
to not become a victim of that.
So
That
sad.
that's amazing. That's a story that seems to repeat in both sexes. What you're saying is my story, and it's a lot of stories. Um, yeah, very interesting. So Steve, did you have another question? Because I want to bring on.
Yeah, go ahead. I was about okay, Eunice. I was about to reveal something, and I was like, it's just that. Never mind. It's just so sad. It's so
Well,
and it's so pervasive.
yeah,
What the?
yeah. It's the what the f. It's the WTF, and that's why we're doing. That's
So oftentimes, Steve, we're trying to, and I'm sure, like Brian has said, he and I have had many conversations. Oftentimes, we try to protect everyone else around us, and we forget about ourselves. We
Mhm.
we don't want to hurt family members. We don't
mm,
want to expose aunties, uncles,
right.
whoever, or family friends. But
Yeah.
then we have this baggage.
Yeah,
All of this is baggage that we carry into adulthood. Um,
yeah. It's emotional stuff that you needed to unload and give back to the person that gave it to you. And unfortunately, once I forgave my molester and gave them that baggage back to them, that I remember, because you know what? Not only do we as the victim suppress the date, the time, and everything and move on. I moved on, and the person told me that my superpower was laughter. So I became the classroom clown, the stage performer. Actually, I became the Bryant. And had not been for the molestation, this person would have never surfaced and became so strong because of what happened. But I want to I do know that we're moving on in time, and I want to we can share together. But we've got 3 or 4 people in the back room. First of all, I want to bring on Eric Rutherford, who is in the back room, but he is our musical director and he's doing original scoring. And if he's back there in the back room and we can get him magically on, I don't know how this happens.
Yeah. There he
Hey,
goes.
hey, Eric.
hi,
Yo, what's up?
what's up, little brother?
I'm here.
How are you?
I'm
Good
doing
to see
well. How are
you.
you guys?
We're all good. I am excited to introduce you, Eric Starr, Eric Rutherford, and my phone that says Eric Sound Music. So if I don't tell Siri, hey Siri, call Eric's. Oh, I better not say it because she'll do it right now.
Uh-huh. And she might come up yours. She might take over your phone too.
She
Yeah.
also has an attitude of her own. So I wanted to just not only just thank you, Eric, for signing on to the project, for being so intentional about the scoring, and I just wanted to get your thought process of what are your thoughts and plans for the project? Like, what are you thinking? What dynamic do you think that you could add to the production?
Yeah. Well, I want to say again, thank you guys for having me on. Special thanks to you, Dr. Sanders, for signing off on having me be a part of this. And Brian, thank you for introducing me.
You're welcome.
Um, I am really excited to be a part of this project because I believe it's a very important piece of culture that we are adding that will not only make an impact here at the local level here in Chicago, but the world around. This project that we're working on has the potential to touch, countless lives. And I'm taking this project as a really serious thing of stewardship because we're talking and dealing with and producing real people's stories.
Yes.
And it's important to especially from a compositional standpoint, the idea of personality. So just as I've been just kind of working through melodies and working through the stories and seeing how that transposes to music, I've just been really on that idea of like, how does this person come out in a musical way?
Yeah.
How does this story translate in a musical way? I haven't gotten, um, a the lion's share of the work finished yet, but what I have so far, I think I'm happy with.
Hmm.
I kind of started just from an emotional standpoint, just kind of trying to capture the emotion of the project. It's one um, of seriousness. It's one of hope. It's funny.
Hmm.
It's a lot of things. Like
It is.
which is what I really dig about it. It just captures so many layers of the stories that many women go through. It's enlightening. So it's just fun to try to come alongside those stories in a musical way.
Wow. I'm so excited about it too. I mean, yeah, I already know what you can do. Like, if you guys don't know, Eric and my nephew produced the sound for my show and the music and the
Mm.
score, and he is my go-to every time. And because of the trust factor that I have for you, Eric, I just am excited to see what the blossoming is. So, without further ado, you guys all stay in the place when you're not talking. Remember to mute your mics. And I would like to bring on Miss Laura Walls in the back room, and then we're going to bring Quiana on, Miss Queen Quiana. She's there as well. Miss Walls, are you there?
I'm right here. Hello, everyone. Can you
Hi,
see me?
Laura.
Hi.
How are you?
I am doing wonderful. I am doing wonderful. I'd like to say hello to Dr. Sanders and to Steve for having me on here, and Brian, my new brother
Yeah.
from another mother. I love you so much, my man. You are so cool. You are
Well,
so cool, and I feel so grateful to be a part of this piece. I really do.
I'm excited about it, and I know that before I have you even do a recital a little bit of your piece, Steve had a couple of questions for you. Steve, you want to shoot away? You on mute? We
I
can't hear
believe.
you. No. He's fine. So anyway, I want to just go ahead. I think he's there frozen, and it's okay. Sometimes on the show you get frozen. The more people you add, we become like fresh frozen fish. So I wanted to ask you first of all, who are you reading, and what is your character? Why don't you tell us a little bit about the connection with what was sent to you prior to us even knowing what you were going to do or if you were going to be on the project?
Okay, I actually have several pieces, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm very drawn to each one of them. I'd like to explain a little bit about each one of them. First of all, one is described as the silver bullet, and for me, it really tells a story of decades of love and laughter that one would share with someone that they've known probably since they were 9 or 10 years old. And they went through high school and they went through college and they graduated and they got married. And they were absolutely inseparable until something tragic comes along and separates them. So, how does this woman, in her loneliness, find the strength through her memories to continue on with life? And what I've really loved that Dr. Sanders has written in this piece is how her granddaughter and others around her become her pillar of support. And it deals with some gadgets, but I don't want to give all that away because I want people to come and see that.
Yeah, don't reveal the reveal, honey, because that's it. Somebody's
No
phone
revealing
needs
of
to be
that.
on mute. I'm getting a lot of feedback. So Dr. Sanders or somebody's phone needs to be all you muted because I can hear some feedback. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, Laura, I'm excited about what you're doing with the characters. I'm excited that we're all going to invite our communities out. This monologue, this play is connected to communities. It's connected to the suburban housewife because her story is a totally different story than the inner city woman that's married with two children. And that
Right.
story connected to the person that is in a spiritual space and religion and time, and that's connected to a mother who was also a wife who has become a widow. So there's so many nuances to this that you guys are not going to even know the questions to ask. I'm going to ask you to just recite just like a couple of lines from whichever one you choose. And if you don't mind, I just want you to just give them a taste of what that voice is going to sound like. Because I want y'all to stop being a punk and come out and enjoy and represent the arts. And we know Miss Quiana's in the Queen Quiana's in the back room. We're going to bring her on right after Laura gives us an excerpt.
So I'll give it to you from the Silver Bullet. I'll do that
Okay.
one. Okay.
Okay. Don't give the reveal.
I won't. I'm just going to give them a taste. That's
Okay,
it.
give them a little taste, like a sherry, not the wine. A sherry.
No, not the wine, just a taste.
Action on you, girl.
I lost my husband over 10 years ago. And I miss him every single day. All my friends tell me that it's time for me to get rid of his things, and I tell them no way. You see, I find comfort in the smell of his shirts, especially the cologne on his suits. Every Saturday, we would have a play night. We pull out a bottle of wine and put on some of my favorite singers on the stereo, and we'd listen to them. People like the great Billy Eckstine, Nat King Cole, Lou Rawls, and my favorite Sam Cooke. Oh, my husband would rub my feet, and I would rub his back. And we just do this until we knew that the time was right. Oh, I will admit that I love making it. It didn't last very long, but it was so lovely. Yes, it was so lovely. He'd hold me so tight until I'd go to sleep. And I never thought that I'd feel that way, that I'd have that feeling again. But I do now.
I think you ought to stop there. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Miss Laura Walls of stage and theater, an amazing woman. I was going to ask her maybe just before we close out, Laura, I'm going to have you hit a couple of notes. But without further ado, I want to bring Queen Quiana, who's our last guest, who is in the back room. And I want to bring her on to make sure that she gets some time as well. So if we could bring Queen on. Hey there.
Hello.
Hey,
Hi.
lady.
Welcome, Queen Quiana. How are you today? You okay?
I'm wonderful, darling. Just got out of the drive at 5 and just made it home.
So I know that you are not a stranger to In the Basement with McLemore. We've had you on in many different facets to the show, and I thank you for that. And it is a pleasure that Dr. Sanders and I had an opportunity to cast you in this project. And just wanted to get a little information about who you're reading for, how you identify with it. And then I know you said you don't want to sing, but I want you to sing something, because didn't you just recently, my dear, get signed with somebody?
Well, first, let me say I am so honored to be a part of this cast. The women, the energy, the connection is so amazing. Miss Laura, when she does her pieces, I mean, when we were in practice, we all were crying, literally, just like, and I had no idea that it was gonna be like that. Women that I hadn't even met until like 5 minutes prior. We did some like on the spot acting and singing, and it just all like fell into this melodic melody, and it's just the characters, the stories are going to touch each and every person in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And I'm just grateful to be a part of it. It's I don't know if it's life imitating art or art imitating life, but the script that I got is called The Red Carpet, which is so ironic because 2 weeks ago I was signed to a major label. I'm not gonna say who because we're doing a 8-week rollout. Things are being prepared. I am dropping a blues EP. Ain't No Pity.
Yes.
And the complete sentence is ain't no pity for a woman with big titties. And the story, it's actually my story, which it all plays a part into the play. Is about a woman who, when she was 8 years old, she had titties. Okay. So the conjunction is, me recently getting signed, and then the part that I'm playing is the red carpet, and it talks about a woman who touches the red carpet for the very first time because she was being honored for a prestigious award. And her grandmother wasn't there to see it, and my grandmother just died not too long ago, who was a staple in my heart and in my family also. And just the connection is mind-blowing. And again, I'm just really honored and blessed to be a part of this because I know that it's going to be groundbreaking. I know it's going to shake a lot of people. I know it's going to break some barriers and tear walls down for people. So just to be here, Miss Eunice, thank you. Bryant, thank you. Steve, thank you. Eric, hello. Miss Laura, thank you.
Thank you, Queen. I think that the amazing thing is that I remember you talking about being a young woman at 8 years old with breasts and how you were sexualized by men in general, and then becoming a teenager with a woman's body and being tortured by your peers because they thought you was hoish just because you had a body and titties built like a woman, and then growing into a woman and being hypersexualized by men that talk to your breast, and looking across the room at those men's women that didn't like you because the men were showing you attention. And did I get it right?
You got it, baby.
so with all of that being in your bag and part of your luggage, part of your story, part of Eunice wanting to have this project tell it. And Eric, I got a song in my heart. I got to give it to you later on. Y'all can't know it yet. That talks about telling it. Talks about what it is to be an African-American woman whose story has not been told because they send y'all and me to the church and you're going to get prayed. But what if you get molested at the church? What if you get taken advantage of by somebody that is in the religious sector? And then who do you go to? What do you go to when that person sends you to hell every Sunday and part of your journey has them on it? So I think that not only are we going to have to heal ourselves through these monologues, but we're going to also have to control our own narrative and we control the highs and lows of it, the ebb tides of it, and the high tides of it need to be controlled by us because we're intelligent enough to write our own narratives. We're musically inclined enough to write our own song. We can heal ourselves through positive energy as opposed to negative. We need to disperse the crab in the bucket situation where one singer thinks she's better than the other singer and another actress thinks she's better than the other actress. But every story in this production has a different dynamic to where one will not ever overshadow the other one because the dynamics are amazing. Steve, did you have questions for any of the panelists?
Let's see. Going back to something that Queen Quiana said, breaking barriers. The first thing I thought of after that word is it's going to be breaking some hearts too.
Indeed.
I think a lot of not I think, no need to say I think, we know that there will be lots of people in the audience and on the stage that have gone through this either years ago, it could be recent, depending on their age. It's really sad. I wanted to tie that in with Eric, and since we know that the basic subject matter is on the, what word do we want to use? Downside, kind of a mood, but it's heavy and it needs to be said. How will the music reflect, Eunice and Bryant? Will it be all kind of somber, Sade-ish, blues? Or will it be some
Oh,
uplifting
no.
gospel, get the F out of my face and I rebuke you, Satan?
Well, I don't think we're going to even have a Sade in the house, even though some things will probably make you cry. But what it is that every woman has a personality, and even jovial women were molested. Even jovial women had issues with their husbands. Even jovial women. So we want that to be a real time because some people that listen to the blues just like the blues. I like the blues. It doesn't make me sad. But to another person, the lamentation made Billie Holiday made people cry. I like her. So we are also using some of the young ladies that are talented that already sing, and we're going to use their actual music. So we invited all of our cast to submit music to Eric that they might let us borrow for the production. And that, Eunice, what were you going to say? I heard you.
So,
Unmute.
so one of the things that I do want to say is, although we are talking about
How do I do that?
molestation, we're talking about different subjects here. There are some of the stories that, such as the big pocketbook, the arranged pocketbook. They have a happy ending to them. So our music that has been selected flows right along with the dynamics of the monologues. Eric is not only just doing music, but he's scoring this actual production just like a movie would be scored. So you're gonna hear all of the intros and outros. We spent time meeting with him late one night, Brian, myself, and Eric, just really sorting through all of this. And it's going to be a show to be seen. I will say that I'm excited about every part of what's going to happen on that night. You're not going to have your typical monologue show, but you are going to really walk away and say, wow, that really touched me.
Absolutely.
And so I'm really happy about the cast. I'm really happy to be working with Bryant. This is something we talked about the other night that just kind of hit organically, that Brian was talking about, Eunice and I were on the road with Mary J. Blige together. And I said, and you know what? This is one of the things that we talked about, that we're going to produce all of this great, wonderful thing. And words manifest life. It does. I believe that. So this was manifested years ago.
Yeah, that's amazing. Eric, you had something.
Look at God.
Eric, did you have something that was that directly related to sound and scoring?
He's I've just been informed that he has left the studio.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk to Eric about that later. So while Eric is left the studio, bye, Eric. Something happened. I'm glad you had time to come on. So
Yeah,
I wanted to go
welcome.
back to Laura and Queen. I would like to just have a vocal sample. We've got another 12 minutes of the show, and usually we pay bills at this point, but we don't have our sponsors back on. Dr. Eunice, you were one of our sponsors, and then we had Maceo Photo. We weren't able to get in touch with him in time enough to sponsor the show, but this is my plea for sponsorship. These shows have gone up. They're very costly, and we'd like you to let us create a commercial for you. Katie Lowe is amazing. She has her own thing that she could do with commercials, but let us sponsor you on this show. As you know, the show goes live. We have messages to tell. In the Basement with McLemore has a tagline that says, where the truth comes out. And this is where we want to live in our truth. We want to tell our truths, but we also want you guys to sponsor us. And Steve, can you give them that Cash App? Because they can sponsor right now, baby. Y'all ain't got to wait till the next show. Steve, what's our Cash App?
$ Stephen Dunagan.
And mine is $ B McLemore Smith. So y'all just
S D.
yes, and mine is just $ McLemore09. We're doing this way. In the Basement with McLemore does have a bank account, but I'm not at liberty to put that all out. But I'd really like you guys to make this show happen. We're going to come back. Like I said, we've been on a hiatus for almost a year. It'll be a year coming up on the 29th of September.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's been almost a year, buddy. We've been out in the field. So without further ado, Miss Laura, could you give me a little vocal spot of something and unmute your phone? And then Queen, I'm going to ask you to do the same thing. And then we're going to get the address from Dr. Sanders and the time for the show at the end. So we've got 10 minutes. So each of you just take a couple of minutes. Laura, you first. Okay, so Laura is going to come back in. And Queen, are you there?
I'm here, darling.
Well, darling, what do you want to do? Do you want to do an excerpt? I really think that you ought to do something that's going to be in the production. That's only if your working voice will work. And if it won't, I understand. But I know you got 3 notes in you from anything, whatever you choose. There you go. I love that. You know, that's what a diva does in the Carnegie Hall when she clears her voice.
That's when you know that's the precursor that I'm getting ready to give you the business.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on, Queen.
Listen to the record play. Record play. Hey. Record play. Record play. Record play. Hey. Record play. Record play. Record play. Hey. Oh.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I love that. I love that. Laura got kicked out of the house. I don't know if she came back yet, but this is the thing. We have an amazing production. I am so excited to be part of it. I get to wear another hat, yet another hat, Eric. You've seen all of my hats, and I'm gonna have to buy some more hats to represent who I am. And Dr. Smith has a whole bunch of them over here, 99 hats are right next to me. I'm just eyeing what's gonna match what I wear today. But Dr. Sanders, why don't you tell us what we need to do for not only the sponsorships for the tables and the VIP, and then could you give us the dates and the time?
show will be October the 11th at 7 p.m. at the DuSable Black Historic Museum. And you can purchase your tickets at eventbrite.com, the Pocketbook Monologues Act 2.
Yes.
I also want you to do another thing. Go on to Facebook to Pocketbook Productions and like the page. You can follow us there to find out some updates, find out a few things about our cast members. We have some great cast members that are not represented here tonight as well. I am so grateful for, again, Queen and Miss Laura, who you guys don't want to miss them. I'm telling you, our rehearsals have been just amazing. And Bryant is doing a stellar job with working with our cast. I love him so much. He's my right hand, left hand, right hip, left hip. And I'm just excited for what's going to happen. Everybody has said the same thing. So again, that's Tell It, the Pocketbook production on Facebook and Instagram. Please go on and like the page. Show again, October 11th, 7 p.m. at the DuSable Black Historic Museum.
Yes, you guys be there, be square. We have our event planner, Mr. Leslie Givens, that's in control of all of our tables. We do have tables that you can rent that day. We have a sponsorship for a VIP lounge. We're still looking for a liquor sponsorship and a catering sponsorship for the show. So if you guys want to, put your stuff into the pot, let us know. And don't be afraid to share some of that loot so that this production is bigger than it should be. We want
vendors. If you're interested in vendorship, please send your information to pocketbookpro65@gmail.com. pocketbookpro65@gmail.com. We do have a few tables left for vendors, and they are $125, which includes your table. So
Yes.
Please send your information to pocketbookpro65@gmail.com.
And we are looking for pocketbook vendors, ladies. So if you're a vendor out there and you got some pocketbooks, the more the merrier. We need pocketbooks. So,
And bring your tissue.
right.
Bring your Kleenex, honey.
I
couldn't believe. I'm in practice watching Miss Laura for the first time. I couldn't believe it. I was sitting there trying to look. I'm talking to my anxiety, like, okay, don't cry. My legs start shaking, and then my fingers start twitching, and I'm like, she was like hitting some stuff inside of me. I'm like, what?
Yes.
I'm telling y'all, it's powerful. Like,
Laura, are you back?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay,
Now, did you
want me to do a little bit of the church pocketbook and lead into the song?
Yeah, I just want you to do the end of the last paragraph and lead into the song. We've got 4 minutes, and we were going to end with you, so I'm glad you're back. And wait, before you do that, Stephen, did you have anything that you needed to add? Because we're going to let Laura use that last 3 minutes to read us.
No. Just want to say thank you to our guest. We appreciate you sharing a little bit of time and your talent with us. We appreciate it. I know that this Eunice and all of you guys, I know this is going to be a success. We don't even need to worry about that. God's got you. It's a quality production. You've got quality talent by the bucketfuls. I'm happy. I'm just sad that I won't be able to fly in for it.
Yeah, well, you got some stuff that's going on. And before I let Laura sing, I wanted to also say the
Yes.
other production that I'm working on, Bronzeville the musical, got booked at the Apollo Theater November 15th, 16th, and 17th.
Yeah.
And I have never been in the Apollo Theater working. And historically, I came from 3011 Dahlia Street in Denver, Colorado, and all these 30 years to get to 125th Street. So without further ado, Miss Laura Walls.
I look to God and say, God, suffer the little children to come unto you. Oh, God, oh, my.
Yes.
And so back and oh my God, over and got over. Oh, how you know that my soul
Yes. Yes.
looks back and wonders, oh, Jesus, upon the child me made he.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you, Laura. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been In the Basement with McLemore, where the truth comes out. I'm your illustrious host, Bryant McLemore Smith. My co-host, producer, Steve Dunagan. Thank you to Dr. Eunice Sanders and the whole Pocketbook crew. We just want to let you guys know that it is 7 o'clock and our time is up. But we're going to look for you again next month. Same place, same time, same station. Stay tuned in to In the Basement with McLemore. Guys, thank you so much.
Thanks,
We'll see y'all
everybody.
later.
Tune in, everybody.
I
Come
love
back.
you.
Bye.
God
God bless
bless.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Miss Laura. Relax.
And we're out, Steve-O. We'll talk to you. Great show, buddy. Thanks for helping me. It was an amazing time. We can get everybody back out of the back room. And we're in the house together. Ah. So thank you, Miss Sanders. Her phone probably was dead. Bye, guys.